So what a lot of groups are doing is they're trying to change, twist, mold, manipulate, paint the picture in their narrative, in their math, and do so in the hopes of winning me and somebody else over. Because they know they realistically lost. That's why they're cheating, playing nonsense games, and everything else you can imagine of whatever anything is that they're doing to try to manipulate people, to try to mold them and manipulate them and make them seem something that they're not. Hence is why they sleep deprived people, tired people. They're going off of images, in terms of what the truth is true, and in terms of what they're doing is false. They're copying, mimicking what is true, and don't want the truth realistically to be known so they could persist of whatever anything is that their motive is, their agenda is that they're trying to do. And these groups, their perspective, their perception, their belief of everything was entirely wrong. Entirely off. They believed everything and anything that was false. Okay? That's what they realistically believed. Everything that was false. Nothing to do with reality, nothing to do with what the truth was. And I believe they're playing opposite and reverse psychology. They're seeing how everything is going and then they're cheating or doing some type of other thing to bypass, to do the opposite of everything else. They have to lose that power. That power does not belong to them. You know? None of that power, of any form of power that they're doing, belongs to them, not even for a second. I personally would definitely not give them any form of power. Not even for a second. So what these groups are doing is there may be a mix of something to do with something that is on point, and under the cover of this mix, while they know everything is good, then they're doing these tests to see reactions and opinions from people. That has to be distinguished if in fact that is true. Because even if that is true, doesn't change the fact that what they're doing is still wrong. Doesn't change the fact that what they're doing is still bad. Doesn't change the fact that what they're doing is unjust and having a wrong effect. A very, very wrong effect. You know? Wrong is still wrong. I don't care what they say. There'll be different types of puzzle of whatever it is that they're doing. It has to be. Also, a lot of groups are possibly going off of with unknowns. They know of a high likelihood of a chance of me doing or saying something similar. What they're doing is they're trying to mix visions and mix thoughts. When something is natural, people know that something is natural. What they're doing is they're trying to mix that so they could change the story and fit people and their narrative on that particular element of reality. And I think they're continuously possibly trying to mix. You know how I'm doing something on my own, I'm creating something on my own. They're trying to mix them reintroducing some type of a weird thing in a moment of time and trying to mix that with me doing something on my own. They're mixing visions, thoughts, reintroducing, ricocheting. They're mixing them. Those virus groups. All has to be known and stopped and prevented. They want me to not mention this. They're going off of with me refraining from mentioning this, so they could try to win me over. And they want people to be fake. So what they did is they introduced all these scenarios, all these schemes, in the hopes of me not mentioning something, in the hopes of me refraining from fitting less than of where I realistically belong and fit in their image of how they perceive something, to then justify or attempt to create a scenario to justify their wrongdoings. Then also they're trying to retain information to call something theirs, or to try to put a bunch of things together that also has nothing to do with reality. So that's what I'm noticing from them. In other words, they cannot be trusted. I don't trust those groups. They failed to me while they claim that everybody else failed supposedly to them. However, the definition of a fail realistically is something that is wrong, something that is bad, something making less sense than something that is making more sense. So, a lot of things before a lot of things are established, what groups are trying to do is they're trying to jump from one thing to another thing to another thing. To try to win people over, to attempt to get their narrative going, to attempt to fool, to attempt to deceive, to attempt to distract. Well, you know what else is going on too? In this moment of time, while I'm explaining something, there's some type of a weird group out there with some type of weird noise of whatever they're making, of whatever they're doing with their nonsense cars. In other words, they bought a bunch of lies. Those groups, those groups bought a bunch of lies, and they're trying to take their personal issues, their angers out on something or someone else. That's what's going on. They lost. They're trying to infect me or somebody else, and they're trying to blame something or someone. They can't find anything or anyone else. They're trying to sophisticate, do a bunch of stuff that equals they're hiding a bunch of stuff to then be able to do what they're doing. In other words, they wouldn't be able to do what they're doing if people knew what was going on. People possibly don't know what's going on. This possibly bypassed, slipped through, and I caught this now. So, these specific groups, these harm causers, zero trust, zero power, zero merit, zero influence, zero effects. They cannot affect anything or anyone wrongly. They're problematic. They shouldn't be floating around, if you ask me. The fact that they're doing this and they're entertaining in this is enough for huge problems to occur, and that's exactly what they're doing. Yet they're only considered benign possibilities because they keep getting exposed. I personally don't trust them. If I knew exactly what the elements were, I'd be telling them exactly what the puzzle elements of anything is, of what they may be doing or attempting to do. In other words, they were wrong from day one till today about everything, and from day one till today, retained answers, adapted, moved forward with the wrong math the entire time, had a wrong effect the entire time that equals. They cannot know the information. They can't know my information. While they claim other people can't know my information, everybody can. Those specific virus groups can't. They did some type of reverse psychology, flipped the script on people, convinced them possibly to make them believe I was with these virus groups, to then make seem though something is just of what they're doing and something is unjust of what something or someone else is doing. They got the whole thing backwards. I personally don't trust them. You know how one thing can equal something else? Well, they're going off of a mix. They're thriving off of a mix. And they're possibly going off of with different types of scenarios. And they're realistically viruses, is what they are. They're resembling, in this specific elements, they're viruses, enough to drag all elements with them. So from day one till today, various specific groups similar to this have been very, very wrong. Through the entire midst. Usually any form of noisemaker, and deliberately doing so under the cover of a wide variety of works and so on and so forth. The specific virus groups, in the midst, there may be a purpose to what they're doing. However, they're mixing the purpose with something that is fake, that has nothing to do with reality. So these groups are trying to make people passive, are trying to get people accustomed to a lot of non-answers. To claim, oh yeah, look, we felt, therefore this person felt too. We went through the same thing. They're illogical. They're trying to infect people. They're failed, so therefore they are infecting other people to fail with them. Well, that makes them a virus. On top of the wrongdoings that they're doing. We need to get the heck out of everybody's life. These virus groups definitely need to get out of everybody's life. And you know what I noticed too? I think I noticed some type of a game being played in the midst, where you know how something is true, something is real. You do something true and real, and you believe that to be so. Well, they manipulate something. They cause some type of a weird effect where something or someone didn't have to prove anything to defend their image, to make seem that that was true. Earlier, that was also going on too, and before. In other words, these viruses are operating on lies. Okay, the whole thing is a lies of what they're operating entirely off. They're the color red, claiming that the color purple. That's what these viruses are to me. Because you know how you go through the midst, you go through the flow, and you believe something and you stand up for something, and something is exactly what something is, and it is true. Therefore, there's no counts, there's no wrong maths, there's no nothing on you. Well, that's the category that I fit in terms of making sense being true. However, there was a huge manipulation of what occurred. So I did something much more safer, and they discounted me. They did wrong counts on me. They did wrong counts on me. And they passed lies for truth and convinced a bunch of people a bunch of lies. And they made themselves confident. They made themselves convinced like they knew everything. Well, guess what? If they did, you know what they would do? They would call me and talk to me, and I would prove them wrong in 2 seconds. One, two. They can't. They're chicken. They're a bunch of chickens. That's what they are. Not even their wildest dreams are correct. I'm talking about who I'm talking about. Those viruses, not what I clicked. Yeah, for sure they're viruses. 100%. I'm telling you from my understanding, from my overall perspective of me knowing everything that ever occurred, of the entire flow of what is realistically true, what is realistically false, they're entirely wrong. They just can't face the facts that they're wrong. Obviously, they're trying to fight. They're fighting to be correct. However, are they realistically correct? Are they realistically true? If you ask me, not even for a second. Realistically, they got the entire thing backwards. Everything is wrong of their version, their side of the story, their paint, their thoughts, their beliefs, their elements. Nothing to do with reality, in other words. Why should those groups be taken any seriously? They're misspent of time, to be honest with you. They're part of the problem. All these problems that ever occurred, well, it has to do with them. Because they believed a bunch of lies instead of the truth, and they fed a bunch of lies instead of the truth. So lies were able to affect me and influence me and manipulate me and cause me issues, and it all stemmed from those virus groups. They have to be held responsible. They have to be known. Everything has to be distinguished. Ultimately, me and all victims must be the deciding force. If different transitions and developments are occurring in various specific elements, all will be different. Will be even worse for them. So they obviously know that me speaking and me talking is the correct thing, generally. Yet they're trying to tire me, they're trying to cause me issues and do reverse psychology and opposite, so I want to mention what I'm mentioning. That makes them more guilty on my behalf. Their frustration, their anger, their personal issues is all their problem. Nothing to do with me. Seems if they have a personal problem, they're trying to blame people. It's similar to what I said. They want to dodge themselves and other people to take the hit. Guess what? That's a virus of reality. That's not going to happen. No one's supposed to be suffering because of these virus groups. Okay, they're mosquitoes. They're parasites. That's all they are. These virus groups. They're nothing more than that. They're nothing less than that either. So be aware.